All right. Oh, fuck. I would like to talk. Hello? Hello? Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Not working. I don't know. 20, 26, or...
I think it's like 18,
Well, I think,
17.
yeah, I knew we were going to be close because a bunch of people texted me an hour before the meeting. It's great. I love it when they do that.
Like an hour ago?
Yeah. 19. We need 19. We're going to see how many we have, and then we'll let people know. Hello. All right. So, before we get started, I'm going to ask everyone to stand up and move one table this way so if people come, they don't have to walk through the crowd. And we have 3 tables open right here.
Does that include us in the back?
Yeah. Or maybe leave.
Because we were like, in my mind, it was like senators should sit closer to
Yeah.
the thing, and then we should sit in the back.
We'll see.
Mariana's at a CPC meeting.
Call this meeting to order at 6:05 on February 17th. First, we'll start with roll call. Please say here or present when I call your name. Adagarla. Idvate. Anderson. Bender. Booma. Emery. Fahim. Goff. Gonzalez. Hanyang. Hayes. Hurley. Klaptauskas. Lau. Lewis. Lona. Ludwig.
Here.
Mass. Pfeiffer. Rinchie. Schulte. Springer. Stenzel. Stevens. Weathers. Young. Zastro. We are missing quorum by 1 person. So if you know anyone on their way, please let them know. Otherwise, we will not start the meeting. I don't know, how close is the next person? Hurley. Are you here? All right, we have quorum. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance with Speaker Ludwig.
Everyone look at the flag in their hearts.
Next is our program with Chief Huff of the Ames PD. If you could approach the lectern, and I think we could be able to get your PowerPoint up on the screen. Oh, no PowerPoint? Great.
Making it easy. Good evening. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm Jeff Huff. I'm the interim chief of police with the City of Ames Police Department. And the reason I'm here tonight is just to discuss Campus Town cameras. Now, this has been actually going on since 2011. We've had a couple of starts and stops with the program. The reason I'm here tonight is because there's been a minor change in what was proposed a number of times. And so we wanted to make sure that was clear, and the City Council wanted to make sure it was clear to student government about what that minor change is. And the one thing I remind you of is we have been to student government a few times on this issue. It may predate some of you because it has been going on that long. But we did have, you passed resolutions in 2012, 2016, and 2017 in support of the Campus Town cameras. So I just wanted to bring that up, that in the past, at least, there's been pretty good support for it. So what has changed? When we first proposed to put Campus Town cameras up, we were going to use a wireless mesh system. And I don't want to get real technical, but it just didn't work. And so they kind of scrapped that idea. And then the proposal was that the cameras would be on Iowa State University's fiber line and on their server. And actually what happened is, you may have noticed a little bit of construction on Welch Avenue over the last year. And when when they started that, we actually put our own fiber in under the roadway, and that allowed us to actually change and put cameras on our own system as opposed to putting on Iowa State system. So the advantages to the city, at least, is we don't have to pay Iowa State to manage the cameras and the server. We can just manage it ourselves. So it does save us a little bit of money. It also will give us access to those cameras a little bit quicker. So if they were on Iowa State system, we would have to make a request, get the footage, look at it. Not very timely. Doesn't help us in an evolving incident for sure. Might help us, though, solve something after the fact. So the proposal right now is to put cameras somewhere in the area of the clock tower in Campus Town. Our intent is to get a view of the 100, possibly 200 block of Welch Avenue, 2500 block of Chamberlain is what we're looking to do. It'll probably be between 3 and 5 cameras. We haven't figured all that out yet, but we do have a vendor that's looking at it. And obviously they don't want to start work in weather like this, so it's going to be once it warms up a little bit. But what we're looking for is just your continued support for the Campus Town cameras. What it'll do for us is, if we have an incident, we can go back and look and see if there's any footage. Some of you may know we've had some assaults that have happened in the Campus Town area. We've had people that have gone missing before, and it would be sometimes to our advantage to be able to look to see if they pass through certain areas. And a few years back, there was actually a shooting that happened right by the clock tower. It would have been really helpful to have our own camera footage of that as well. So those are the reasons that we have them. One question we normally get is, will it deter crime? I don't know. Probably not, because I want to be honest. But it does give us the ability to go back later and look. These cameras will be overt, so they will be where you can see them, and there will be a sign saying that we are monitoring this area with security cameras. So it'll be very clear that they're there, and we're not trying to hide the fact that they're there. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer those, if I can, at least.
Are there any questions for the chief?
Okay.
Senator Debate.
Hi, thank you so much for
And Senator,
coming out.
I was wondering maybe if, while we're in this room, it would be good if senators could stand up when they talk, just so we can see each other.
Thank you so much for coming out. I'm all in favor of safety. I guess my biggest concerns here were more from a privacy perspective, and I think it's great you're going to have signs saying where areas are going to be recorded. So I was just wondering, well, because I know a lot of these new cameras are capable of facial recognition and ALPRs, like automatic license plate reading, all that sort of stuff. Just wondering where the department stands on this and you're thinking about.
So we would only be able to add that kind of technology with approval of the City Council. So they would not start with that kind of technology. And I don't think the cameras we're looking at will probably be capable of that, at least not right away. It could be, definitely could be something that could be added later, but at this time, we're not going that route. As far as a privacy concern, just as a matter of law, there is no expectation of privacy in a public place, and everywhere that we would put these types of cameras would be public places. So we're not going to put a camera anywhere that would be considered private property.
Senator Pfeiffer.
cameras will be monitored in real time, or if they're just going to be for after the fact?
Good question. Both. So they could be monitored in real time because the system we have is called Milestone. It's the same system that the cameras that we have at City Hall are on that monitor our parking lot. So in the communication center, they could pull that camera up and watch it in real time if they wanted to. But I'll be honest, we just don't have the staffing to sit there and watch camera all the time. I think the biggest benefit will be after the fact. When something has already happened, then we can go back and look and try and determine what happened. But there could be other instances, maybe there's a special event going on in that area where we might want to monitor that area in real time, and so we would have the ability. But generally speaking, I don't think we'll have time to do that. But that's a good question.
Senator Kloptowskis.
I'm just curious, is there like a cutoff for when the servers stop filling in data? Like when the instant they're installed, are you going to have data from that point forward? Or will you only keep data from like the last 2 years, say?
30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually it takes up quite a bit of space. And our intent is if something happens, we want to capture that right away. We're not going to be able to look back, 6 months or a year. So 30 days will be when it'll start to overwrite itself.
All right, are there any further questions? Oh, sorry. Springer?
Just so I can understand, so has there been a delay in installing the cameras since you first came to us in 2011, or is it just continued addition of cameras?
No, there's no cameras right now. There's just been a couple of setbacks in the process. And one of those was the first technology that we looked at, which I don't fully understand either, the Wi-Fi mesh, just didn't seem to be like that was going to work and not give us much return on that investment. And so that's why we looked at fiber with Iowa State, and we had a couple of starts and stops. And then when the construction was planned for Welch Avenue, obviously we knew, well, we can drop in fiber pretty cheaply, and then that saves us the ongoing cost to Iowa State to have to pay for the server space and upkeep and those kind of things. So there's nothing there right now. And the policy that we have for cameras, which we don't have any yet, also states that the city council has to approve all locations for these types of security cameras. So if we put these on Welch Avenue or in that campus town area, that doesn't mean we're just going to put them up all over town. The council still has to approve those. And the locations that we would look at would be either high crime areas or downtown may be another one at some point because it's similar to campus town. And they also have a lot of special events downtown. So that could be another one. But right now, we don't have anything. Yep.
Senator Hurley?
Hello. I've seen a lot of cameras in different towns that are public where anyone can access them. They have a few at Iowa State. Would that be a potential that we could see maybe from the clock tower?
So you're asking if other people would be able to view the cameras either in real time?
Yeah, would you be able to make them public?
Well, I suppose you could. That's not our intent, though. They would be open to any kind of public records request, and those would be handled just like any other public records request, where we'd look at it, determine whether or not it's a public record, whether we could release it, and then we would make that determination. But our intent is not to leave it open for anybody to watch.
Senator Debate?
Hi. They just asked the question, part of the question I was going to ask. The other component I had was from a security perspective. I was just talking to Chief Newton about this earlier. And the cameras in ISU, they're managed by the IT services here. They're completely encrypted. Chief Newton said if they want to get in, they have to sign into a bunch of VPNs. So, there isn't, I guess they're well firewalled and everything. Would you know how that's sort of set up?
Probably a little technical for me. I just know they're on the same system that our others. So we have security cameras at City Hall on a system called Milestone, which is one of the bigger companies that does this type of work. So while I can't tell you exactly what encryption there may be, my understanding is it's secure. It's as secure as our other ones are. I would assume similar to what Iowa State uses. They've got a lot of cameras. So.
Thank you. And from a contracts perspective, do you know if this is kept in-house or is this contracted out to another? You said it was contracted out to a company?
Well, so the installation of the cameras would be an outside company we would hire that has expertise. So they would kind of tell us, this is the kind of camera, this is where you should put them. But then the system, once it's in place, would be managed by our information technology services for the city of Ames.
Okay,
So our IT folks would then manage it from there, once it's in.
Oh, so it's not, the data isn't going out of house, I guess?
No,
It's,
it'd be
oh,
all in-house, yep.
Okay,
Yep.
fantastic, thank you.
Milestone is our system that we use for the city of Ames, and our IT department manages that system. So Milestone is a software system. They
That's-
manage that.
Oh, so it's like licensed to you and then?
Yep.
Oh, okay, sweet, thank you so much.
You bet, thank you.
Emery?
Hi, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Question about like, what is the opinion of Campus Town and, the businesses that are around that area? Have you talked to them? If so, what is their opinion?
Yeah. So we've met with Campus Town Action Association, which is a lot of those Campus Town businesses. They're all very supportive of putting these cameras in. Occasionally they get some vandalism, things like that. We told them this potentially could help us solve some of those types of cases. So they've been supportive really of this since 2011 when we first came up with the concept, as student government has been as well.
All right, are there any further questions? Then if not, I think I'll just close by saying that I think I'm probably the only one in the room left that voted for one of those resolutions. So when I was a freshman, I voted on the 2017 one. And I think we hear a lot from students about safety concerns, and for the city of Ames to kind of hear where those are needed and move forward on them, even through some delays, I think it's much appreciated. So thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll now move on to open forum. Open forum is a time for discussion and issues relevant to students. So if you are a student who would like to speak, please approach the lectern and state your name and the college of your primary major. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody, so we'll move on to adopting the agenda. Are there any amendments or corrections to tonight's agenda? Senator Mass.
I'll move to place at the end of new business 2020-3-058Y judicial branch clarifications.
Okay, so there's been a motion to place 2020-3-058Y judicial branch clarifications at the end of new business. And there was a second. Is there any objection to the placing of that bill on the agenda? Then seeing none, that has been placed on the agenda. Are there any further corrections to tonight's agenda? Senator Zastro.
Motion to move 2020-3-055A, approving the asset recommendations directly above 2020-3-085SA, ratifying the fiscal year 22 contracts.
So there's been a motion to move 2020-3-055A up in the agenda in new business. Second. There was a second. Is there any objection? Okay, seeing none, the order has been changed. Is there any further corrections to tonight's agenda? Okay, there's been a motion to approve. Is there a second? Any objection? Seeing none, the agenda for tonight has been approved. We'll move on to approval of the minutes from last week. Are there any amendments or corrections to last week's minutes? There's been a motion to approve last week's minutes. There was a second. Is there any objection? Then seeing none, the motion has been approved. We'll go on to committee reports. First, rules with Speaker Ludwig.
Okay, rules met very briefly on Monday. We just talked briefly about an internal rule that we wanted to set for the committee just to speed up the way that we deal with reviewing bills that are coming through. And then we assigned some studying for bylaws as we start bylaw review. So, any questions?
All right, then we will move on to Finance Committee with Finance Director Class.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's loud. Okay, one second. Let me find my email so I don't ramble what I'm already doing. Yeah, so lots of stuff going on in finance right now. All three bills, I can stand, sorry. All three bills that are on first read were sent favorably, that are finance related. Eliana will be here for those two funding bills. And then we also had the carryover requests bill, 2020-3-056F. That is sent favorably as well, because we're going to vote on that tonight so we can get those out of the way before annuals start next week. So next week, starting on Tuesday, myself and the Finance Committee are going to start hearings. Our meetings are from 4 to 7 on Tuesdays, 4 to 10 on Thursdays, and 8 to 5 on Saturdays for 2 weeks. So it's a lot of work, a lot of time, which I am very appreciative that the committee is willing to do that. But it's also allocating out like $1.5 million to almost 200 clubs. So it's really cool. Myself, Treasurer Rulli, Vice Chair Zastro, I almost said Lipford, are going to the Sports Council hearing on Saturday, which is also at 9 o'clock. Carver 101, Mason and Max, who should be watching, reminder, which is all the sports clubs at once. That's a very interesting process. If you have questions about that, I can answer them at a different time. Also on the agenda, we have the asset recommendations and then ratifying the asset contracts. Why Mason moved the recommendations before is because the contracts are based on the recommendations. I sent a PDF to Ludwig that I hope he put, okay, cool, that he put in the folder. That has all of what is on the contracts, and those are the recommendations. So that's, when we pass that bill, it's like a resolution to agree with those. That's what Max did for like, I don't know, 3 weeks in January with a ton of meetings with a bunch of professionals, because they have like actual professionals, not that Max is not a professional, they have full-time staff that do asset for them, and we just have a volunteer. So if you see Max or Max comes, please tell him thank you, because he does a lot of work for asset, and he like weird thing that doesn't really get noticed a lot by people, but like $274,000 go to nonprofits in Story County from student government, and Max does all of that and figures that all out for us. So if you see Max, please give him a thank you. Next we have Rodeo Club, which is events account. We'll see that next week. Yeah, a lot going on. My brain is always frazzled. But if you have questions, I will try my best to answer them. That's it for now. Thank you.
Any questions for the finance director? Then we'll go to PR with Outreach Director Crabb.
All right. Hi, all. I hope you guys had a wonderful week. So some of the stuff we're working on in PR, we're doing a share a tip organization. So essentially what that is, students will be sending in like academic tips throughout like the next 2 months. So they'll be seeing more information about that. The Election Commission outreach, I met with a lot of at-larges within our different committees in student government. Some of them seemed really interested, and it was really fun talking to, like, I sat through like all of the committees, so it was super fun. Also, all emails have been sent out to all department chairs regarding running, so having senators run from colleges and wherever you live. And then you'll be seeing 2 bills tonight for the Election Commission. One of our PR at-larges, Christian, is here, so he'll be going over those. We're doing CAL's outreach tonight. They have a constituency meeting. We're kind of figuring out how we're going to reach out to constituencies through senators. So that was it's kind of like our little like rough draft tonight. Hopefully it goes well. Women's Week tabling, you can see that on the MIS page. I think Caitlin sent that out. Yeah, so if you could sign up for that, I would appreciate you. It should be a super fun event. And yeah, so if you have any questions about Women's Week in general, please let me know. It's going to be a super, super cool event. I'm really excited. Tabling, I send that out like probably like 3 or 4 times this semester. So if you wanted to sign up, that'd be super awesome. I'd appreciate it. We did PRSSA outreach. This week, we kind of met with that club and organization regarding the PR club and also student government. The Women's Week landing page is done. It looks really cool, so thank you, IT Director Khan, for that. We also did CPC outreach, so that's for Women's Week and Election Commission. Just kind of reaching out to them and letting them know student government wants them to be involved in a lot of things we're doing. And the COVID-19 and Diversity and Inclusion Survey meeting with Matthew Bastilli was this week. There'll be a presentation coming out soon. We found out some really, really cool information, so I'm excited to share that all with y'all. Thank you.
Are there any questions for PR? So now we'll go to Diversity and Inclusion Committee with Director Perk.
Hi, is it working? Okay. So we had professional and career prep week last week, and we were really happy with how it turned out. Thank you to everyone that participated in that. All the sessions got recorded, so those will all be going in a SciBox for later access if you want to check anything out. And then next week on Thursday at 6 p.m., we'll be having another diversity roundtable, and that'll be for BIPOC women. So if you identify as a BIPOC woman, please join us. It was really helpful to have student government members at the last one because some general student body members that were in attendance asked some really good questions about student government, and so it was awesome to have people there that could answer those questions. And then I don't know if y'all remember me talking about last semester how we were working on a project to get menstrual hygiene dispensers installed in gender neutral bathrooms on campus. We're kind of switching gears with that a little bit because we were working with the Department of Residence, like trying to get in touch with them, but it turns out that they are already like working on that and have like their own plan for it and their own money for it, which we were not aware of until recently. So we're kind of switching gears a little bit, focusing on getting them in the gender neutral bathrooms here in the MU because that is still something that needs to be done. And also Lead Rec, if you didn't know this, they don't have a gender neutral bathroom at all. So after getting a square footage cost estimate from, I think it was the Department of Residence, like how much it costs to like construct a gender neutral bathroom, we kind of want to talk to them about possibly helping to fund the construction of one because that's really important. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions? And seeing none, we'll go to Student Initiatives Committee with Senator Hayes.
Oh. All right, yeah, so at Student Initiatives, we are setting up a meeting with the Director of Health and Wellness in order to talk about a lot of mental health ideas that we have going on next week. So we have that meeting set up. We also have a joint meeting with Eliana and Anna Olson from PR so that we can accomplish a lot of our SI projects that need a little bit more publication. What else do we do? Oh, we are in the midst of seeing a new at-large, so we found a candidate to take a seat on the committee. So that's been exciting, and we're all caught up on a lot of our personal projects, so that's what's going on at SI.
All right, are there any questions for SI committee? Okay, so seeing none, we'll go to Civic Engagement Committee with Senator Schulte.
Yeah, so we had our first, is this working? Okay, great. So we had our first meeting officially yesterday. Senator Weathers is our vice chair because there are only 2 senators currently on the committee. So if you would like to join our committee or have any friends that would like to join Civic Engagement, we're a very chill committee. Please join us. We're very small right now. But we're working on a bunch of projects that are super fun. So we've got our collaboration with SHOP, the food pantry on campus. We're working on something to promote students getting out in the general Ames community and making sure that we know about small businesses. We're going to work with Library 160, hopefully, and then other resources to promote the Ames Public Library inside of Iowa State. And then finally, we're going to do a program similar. The League of Women Voters does a legislative wake-up at 8 a.m. on some Saturdays where you can come meet your elected representatives. We're going to try and make that program a little bit more friendly towards college students because nobody wants to wake up at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So hopefully that's in the books as well for this semester.
All right. Are there any questions for Civic Engagement Committee? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to comments from the Executive Branch with Finance Director Class.
Hi, hello. I need to read what Morgan wrote. Last week, Director of Affordability Campbell and Morgan attended a Memorial Union Advisory Board meeting where they got updates on some of the MU's current initiatives. Senator Stenzel invited Schrader and Morgan onto his award-winning Innovators podcast, which is based on the ISU Research Park. So Morgan is very excited for that episode to drop, and I've heard rumblings of Morgan starting her own podcast. Rumblings. Myself, Senator Mass, Vice President Schrader and President Fritz had the student fee tuition committee meeting where we discussed fees as a whole for the first time and took, actually had action on them. We will have subsequent meetings to finish those decisions, and that is all from President Fritz. So I will sit down.
Senator Klaptauskas.
With the student fee committee, do you guys take minutes, or would you be open to taking minutes of the meeting?
So in Iowa code, it states that the student fee committee has to report their recommendations to the student government, and the student government can provide feedback. So I think that's the mechanism that currently exists, and I'm guessing that minutes probably wouldn't be taken just to protect kind of the bluntness of conversation in those meetings.
Okay.
Are there any further questions for the executive branch? All right, then I'll call on Speaker Ludwig. Yeah, do you want to do it?
I move to add Vice Speaker Gonzalez to the roll.
There's been a motion to add Vice Speaker Gonzalez to the roll. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the senator has been added.
Move to add 2020-03-0XX, I'm not sure what the number is, to the agenda.
What's the number? There's been a motion to add 2020-3-086SG. What was the title on that bill, Senator?
Adding an at-large member to Student Initiatives Committee.
Adding an at-large member to Student Initiatives Committee. Since this is not during the normal time to amend the agenda, it would require a 2/3 vote if anyone had an objection. So the motion's been made. Is there a second? Okay, there's been a second. Is there any objection to adding that bill to the agenda? Then seeing none, the bill has been added. We'll now move on to external matters. Within external matters, we have 2020-3-052F, theater carryover request with Senator Zastro.
So we're going to see a lot of carryover requests this week and next. Next week, we actually have a bill with a few that are wrapped into one. This one got going a little bit faster, so this is its own bill. So theater is basically requesting money that is in their account right now to be carried over to next year's account. This will make it so that we don't have to allocate them that money in annuals, which makes budget balancing a lot easier. So this should be pretty quick. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them. I'll motion to make the Finance Committee amendment.
Okay, so the Finance Committee amendments have been moved. We'll go straight into discussion on them, Senator Zastro.
It's just a wording change. Call the question.
Okay, it's been called a question second. Any objection to voting now? Seeing none, we'll do a placard vote.
You see.
It's been called for unanimous consent. Is there any objection to approving the Finance Committee amendments by unanimous consent? Seeing none, the amendments have been approved. Senator Zastro, back to you on your opening statement.
If there are any questions, I'd be happy to have them. I yield.
All right, general discussion period on the bill. Please raise your placard if you have a point for discussion. Just call a question. Second, any objection to voting now? Then seeing none, Senator Zastro declines a closing statement, so we will go straight into a roll call vote. Please say yes, no, or abstain when I call your name. Adegarla. Idvate. Bender. Emery. Fahim. Goff. Gonzalez. Hanyang. Hayes. Hurley. Klaptauskas. Ludwig. Mass. Pfeiffer. Schulte. Springer. Weathers. Young. Zastro. Missed anybody? All right, then with a vote of 19-0, the bill passes. We'll move straight on to internal matters, 2020-3-049F, funding Meet the Senator's food truck event with Senator Hayes.
Yep, so this is a bill trying to fund the Meet the Candidates event that we have every year. This year we're doing food trucks instead, and I believe, is Christian here? Yep. So we have an at-large member from PR here who will introduce himself and give a couple words about the motion.
Hello everyone, I'm Christian Grensteiner. I'm a freshman majoring in event management here at Iowa State. I found student government through Club Fest this fall, and I was just super excited to get into it. And I don't know if I met you earlier this fall, but I was just jumping feet first, and I've been enjoying it ever since. I've been talking to Anna Olson about Election Commission Meet the Senator event, and I noticed that there was low attendance and not a lot of awareness among the student body for Senate elections. So it was my goal to help market this election and just make it more involving for the students. So we decided to do a food truck. Here are some general numbers for it. We're going to be serving 150 meals, and it's going to have mac and cheese and chicken tenders. I figured that was pretty popular among college kids. I love that stuff. It's going to be split between 2 locations for maximum impact. So we're going to have it from 11 to noon by Maple Willow Larch, and then 40 minutes to transit behind UDIC. We wanted that to help include all the freshmen who lived on in residence halls, so they can learn a little bit more about elections and maybe perhaps get involved later, because we always want more people jumping in, right? So we think that's a really great investment. So here are some of the numbers. It's $250 flat for a food truck. Nothing else will change. $75 for multiple locations. It is $7 a meal, and then we ordered 150. So that turns out to be $1,050. And for drinks, we have $356.25, which comes to an estimated event cost of $1,731.25. Now, I know that sounds really scary, but the fund, if let's say we sell all 150 of our food, we would only have to pay 25 plus 75. I can't do math, so. So that 1,050 for meals plus the 356 for drinks would not come out of our pockets as long as we sell all the food. I'm very confident that we will be able to sell the food based on location and our marketing strategies. We are partnering with IRHA for this. We wanted to offer a 20% student discount to help bring a little bit more of an initiative for students to come and check out what's going on. And we'll also be having senator candidates there, and they'll be able to talk amongst the students who are getting their food or waiting in line. So that we believe it's a good investment, and RHA is going to help market it through their social media. And we wanted to do the 20% discount like I mentioned, and they will be paying the 20%. I talked to Sydney earlier this week, and she's going to be sending it to her parliament, so I'll hear back pretty quick on that. So those are just some of the numbers. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Are there any questions for the at-large? Senator Debate? Well, actually, this is still the opening statement, so I don't think we'll do questions right now. So, Senator Hayes, I'll give you back the floor if you want to continue your opening statement or open the floor for debate. Okay, we'll open the general period for debate. So, Senator Debate, you want to go now?
Hey, thank you so much for coming out. I guess I just have 2 questions. So is this still inside the library, or would this be outdoors?
This will be outdoors, and the food truck's going to be outdoors right by MWL, by Seasons. And then we're going to move over behind UDIC outside. So that's a common traffic area, and students who are going to be going for lunch will be seeing a food truck and seeing with all the commotion. So those are the 2 locations.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And do you have a date in mind for this?
Yes, it's the day before St. Patrick's Day, which is, I don't know off the top of my head.
March 16th. Sweet, thank you. And one last question. Would you be working around dietary restrictions, and if so, in what manner?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Would you be working around dietary restrictions for vegetarian people or people that are allergic, stuff like that? If so, how?
I will be talking to the Iowa State Food Department, ISU Dining, about that. It hasn't crossed my mind, but I will be talking to them about the different options for vegan, vegetarian, all that stuff. because we want that to be as inclusive as possible.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I
Thank
think
you.
this is a great idea. I
Thank you.
yield.
Senator Zastro.
Move to make the Finance Committee amendment.
So Senator Zastro has moved the Finance Committee amendment. We'll go into discussion on them. Senator Zastro.
Just another wording change. Call the question.
Any objection? Okay, then we'll do a placard vote. Call for unanimous consent on changing the wording on the account. And is there any objection to approving that by unanimous consent? Seeing none, the amendment has been adopted. Senator Zastro, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I just think this is a really cool idea. I really appreciate that you did the work for this. This is, I remember last year we had 2 events in the library and we had probably 20 pizzas for each, and it probably cost a lot of money and we didn't get too many students. I think that this is a way that we can do it for cheaper and also have more students come into contact with senators, which is fantastic. So I think this is a really great idea. I yield.
Senator Hanyang.
Yeah, echoing everything that Senator Hayes and Senator Zastro said, I think this is going to really help turnout, especially because, you know, being outside and getting more people around, or getting more students around the residence hall is really important. I just had one question about what you mentioned with marketing this to students. So what would you be selling, or how would you be selling these meals? Like, what would the price for a meal be? Because in the past this has been for pizza that students just can come in and get it for free.
Right. So as I mentioned, it is $7 per meal, what I've ordered from ISU Dining. So it just kind of depends on if they get a drink on top of that as well. But we are offering a 20% discount, which IRHA will most likely be on board to help pay. So I believe with the discount, it will help it make more affordable for students to buy food.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'm a little concerned with, you know, some students might walk away because they see they have to pay for it instead of, you know, just picking up the food.
Yeah.
But obviously there's more food there than just a slice of pizza, so.
Right. And what is really convenient is ISU dining dollars will be available too, to make it more accessible.
Okay.
So that is another plus.
Just off the top of my head then, would students be able to use like a meal swipe to pay for that, or would they still have to use just their dining dollars?
I don't know specifically, but I will talk to ISU Dining about that.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Unless there are no other placards, I'd call the question. Oh, never mind.
All right, Senator Hanyang withdrew his motion, so I'll go to Senator Weathers.
Sorry, I'll keep it quick. The weather in March can be a little bit inclement, a little bit cold, so my only concern is, have you done anything to maybe address that concern by moving outside from the library? You might go down in attendance numbers.
Yeah, ISU Dining has some backup plans in case weather is not the best. And they said that with my meeting with ISU Dining. So we do have a backup plan in case weather is not the best.
Okay, I think that's the best I could ask for. So I called a question.
There's been a call to question and a second. Is there any objection? Then I go to Senator Hayes for a closing statement. Senator Hayes declines, so we will move to a roll call vote on the bill. Please say yes, no, or abstain. Adegarla. Yes. Advait. Yes. Bender.
Yes.
Emery.
Yes.
Fahim.
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Hanyang.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Hurley.
Yep.
Klopchowskis.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Nass.
Yes.
Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Schulte.
Yes.
Springer.
Yes.
Weathers.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zastro.
Yes.
All right. Then with a vote of 19 to 0, this event, or this funding bill passes.
Move to add Senator Rinchi to the roll.
There's been a motion to add Senator Rinchi to the roll. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the senator has been added. Move on to 2020-3-053F, funding outreach gifts with Speaker Ludwig.
All right. This project is for election outreach. I don't know if Director, are you going to talk about it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, all right. I will let you talk about it.
Yeah, no worries. So we wanted to include some more incentive for students to go to food trucks, which is why we wanted to do a giveaway on social media. I know that you see giveaways all the time on your social media, so just seeing your friends post something on their story. Public relations plan was to have 3 gift baskets, and in order to enter, you would have to share the post on your story, and you can tag friends in the comment sections. And here are a few statistics from the last giveaway that we had. We had for one mask, remember one mask, this is a bunch of different things. So we had 639 students interact with the post. 84 of them weren't following, and that means 1 out of 72 students saw the post and interacted with it. So, and that's just with one mask, and we have 3 big gift baskets, like one spa day, so like a Lush gift card, a bath bomb, bath soap, and then we have a movie basket, so popcorn, a gift card, candy, a blanket, and we have one more other, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. So I believe that will be very popular, and the promotional stuff will have information on food truck. So I believe that will get more people to come and in hopes to sell everything.
Yeah, I will open the floor for debate. So.
Senator Zastro.
Sorry, this is something we should have caught in Finance Committee. I'll amend the enacted clause to read that $455 be transferred from the special projects account to the Public Relations Committee.
Okay, so there's been a motion to add to the Public Relations Committee in the enacted clause. There was a second. Is there any objection to consideration? Seeing none, we'll go into debate on the amendment.
Second.
The call to question. Second. Any objection to voting on that? Then we'll do a placard vote. It's called for unanimous consent. Is there any objection to approving the amendment by unanimous consent? Seeing none, the amendment has been approved. Senator Zastro, floor is still yours.
Again, really cool idea. You've done a really great job making sure that this is a successful event. And I think that this will get a lot of people involved in our elections that normally wouldn't be. So thank you.
Thank you.
I yield.
Senator Debate.
Again, thank you. I think this is a really innovative idea, and it fits well into what we just passed. I guess I had a question. So is this a random giveaway, or do people sort of select what they're entering a raffle for?
It's a random giveaway. So once you post the story on your social media, you are randomly entered for one of the 3 gift baskets.
Okay, that being said, I think everything on here is great, but the articles I'm concerned about are the Keurigs and the K-Cups, because everything else is sort of standalone. Like, you can consume candy, an ISU Cafe gift card is great, but to use a Keurig, you need to have a Keurig machine, and if people can't select what they're running for, oh, it's the machine itself?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the, oh,
yeah.
It's not the box.
No worries.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well, then I'll get to my second point. It is the most expensive item on here. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm going to think about it because that was a revelation. I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Senator Emery.
Hi, thanks for coming. I'm just concerned that this is going to be like a one-time thing. People see it, they're like, oh, free stuff, take it, that's it. It's a lot of money, and I don't know, what is your plan for, I know you mentioned, putting information about the food truck thing, and just putting myself in, a freshman's shoes. I see that, I'm like, okay, I have to pay for it, It's not something I'm interested in. I throw it away. I enjoy my popcorn. So what is your plan for, maybe, are you planning on putting any more information about like student government committees or anything like literature on that, or what, or is it just going to be, about the food truck event?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, as a freshman myself, I would do the same thing, but that's not the case what we're going to do with the coupon. We are going to put information about the food truck on there. But we are also going to have a little QR code to the Election Commission website itself, and maybe some more information about student government and how to get more involved, because I know a lot of students are just really wanting to join student government, but they don't know how, So I believe this would be a really great opportunity to include some resources to go to through the coupon.
Thank you. I yield.
Senator Hanyan.
So going off of Senator Debate's point earlier, brought up an interesting thing. The valuation for the 3 different baskets is different. So basket A has a value of about $190 with the line items you listed before. basket B has a value of $110 and basket C has a value of 155. So I think what Senator Vate was trying to get to is, if the value is different, do students have a way to choose which basket they're getting, or vice versa? Is there a way to even out the value between the three baskets so that students have a fair, accurate value of what they're getting or would potentially be winning?
Yeah, so what I'm getting at here is, if the student wins, do they get to pick which basket they get?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. We can totally incorporate that. That's like super easy to just incorporate, because it is just like a random chance thing, 3 students get it, and I'm sure we'll figure something logistical wise to figure out which basket they can get. But I haven't done much thinking about that aspect. I've just been thinking logistical wise, how do we get this on? How do we have students more interested and engaged? So I'm still working on the logistical stuff for the prize itself.
So I would like to make an amendment, and this, I'd like people to discuss this. I would like to amend that basket A has the coffee gift card and ISU cafe gift card removed, and that basket B has popcorn added, or have an ISU gift card added to basket B with the price of $40, so that you have a value that's around 160 to 150 across the 3 baskets. If we would like to make it so that each basket has a higher value instead of cutting items, we can also discuss that. But I'd just like to put that on the table so we can have some more equity among the 3 prizes.
Okay, so there's been a motion to cut from basket A to add a gift card to basket B. I can't really get a good angle on it, so Senator Gonzalez, if you can just tell me when you've got the amendment reflected on the screen, and then we can move into debate on it.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, so the motion is, or the amendment has been reflected on the screen and in the Google Drive, so we'll go into debate on it. Senator Han Young, the floor is yours on the amendment. Senator Young?
Hi, yeah. So I guess my question is directed towards Senator Hanyan. I'm wondering, what the thoughts are behind this amendment, if you would be able to answer that.
Yeah, so the Keurig is $100. There isn't another item on there that is $100 except for the Lush gift card, which is $50. The total value or cost, which is the value of the items you'd be buying, is imbalanced currently as the way the bill was written before. So if students would look at the survey or look at the post and say, I really want a Keurig, and then they win one of the other prizes, they might feel gypped or cheated because of it. And so if you bring up the price of basket B specifically and cut the extra gift cards, because I'm sure that the students would still be pretty happy to get a Keurig in the first place, that would be a little bit more fair for the people who win the other prizes. So that's kind of my reason behind it.
I guess my thoughts are that this is a game of chance. That's the point of the Instagram story. So I'm not sure if making them go through hoops to change out the baskets after they've made the decision of what they want in it, or having an even playing field. Honestly, I don't know if I would crunch the numbers to see how much every basket was valued at. So that would be my thoughts on this change, and I'll yield.
Senator Springer?
Can I yield my time to Eliana?
Okay. I wanted to say thank you all for being so nice and asking so many questions to Christian. One thing we could maybe, I like how you understood that there's different values of different baskets. Do you think, can I ask questions to Senator Hanyan?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that if we posted these separately, there are 3 different posts because we were thinking of putting them in an array? If we did 3 separate posts, but we kept the Keurig K-Cup mugs and coffee gift card just on one so people know what they're getting into? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an either or. I think either we could use this amendment to reduce that kind of chance of which item you're getting, or you could have the students select which item they're going in the drawing for, and then they know which ones they would be kind of in the raffle for.
Yeah, I think doing 3 separate posts would be better, because if you, like, especially like with Instagram feeds, you can, sometimes you don't ever see it. So like, at least if we post 3 times, you have at least a higher chance of seeing them. So I think that would be a good idea of doing those 3 individual posts. Thank you.
Yeah, so do I have the floor or do I not have the floor?
No.
Okay.
Senator Springer yielded to Director Crabb, so Director Crabb yields, the floor will open back up. And for the sake of the body, I'll just call on Senator Han Yang.
Yeah, so in that case, if we're doing that, I'll just withdraw my amendment, and we'll go forward with what Director of Outreach Crabb said.
Okay, so the amendment has been withdrawn. We'll back on debate. Okay. Is there any objection to withdraw the amendment? Okay, seeing none, the amendment has been withdrawn. We'll go back to debate as a whole. Senator Hurley.
I'm going to have Senator Bates speak first. He got his thing up.
I try and call on everyone's first speaking privilege first and then go to second. So Senator Vade has already spoken on the bill. If you would like to yield your time to Senator Vade, you can do that. If you would. Or you can say move me down and it would accomplish the same thing.
Move me down.
Great. Senator Vade.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed right now, and I'm not exactly sure what we're. Director Crabb, could you please quickly go over the understanding we just came to?
Yeah, you're totally good. Okay, so do you have an Instagram debate?
And sorry, Director Crabb, I have been letting. Could we make sure to stand up when we talk so everybody can see?
Yeah. So with Instagram, so there's you post something completely new, like you're just. Gosh, I don't know how to explain social media. But you're just make a post. It'd just be a photo and you can caption it with something. So we were thinking of, you can click multiple pictures to post within one post, or you can just do 3 individual posts. So that's what we want to do, is we want to do each basket as one post instead of putting them all together. So instead of raffling off kind of like multiple or random, then now you can kind of choose from which post you want.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much.
Sweet. Thank you so much. And I guess I want to thank Senator Han Yang for bringing up part of what I was getting at. I guess also part of what I was getting at is the unequal values of the baskets, yes. But I'm not sure how I feel about, and please do respond to me as you see fit, I'm not sure how I feel about Keurigs and K-Cups being part of the baskets, because everything else here is, you can candy, blankets, that's all great. Keurig is I don't know, it's a big corporation, and the thing is they lock out their machines. So if you buy a Keurig, you can only use Keurig pods in it. You cannot use your own coffee cups anymore. It's, I believe they had a digital rights management restriction.
You would like to ask a question? Please directed towards the
Senator.
I'm sure they have little cup things that you can put in the machine. I don't know if now they recently did, but I just recently used one.
Yeah, what I meant is they lock down their machines in the sense that you can only use Keurig cups, and third parties, they can try to hack the system, but Senator Weathers, please. I
was just saying that you can just use, it's like a little cup thing that goes in, but I could be wrong unless other people used it, but I used mine and it works.
Senator Young.
As an avid Keurig user, I can attest that there is this little cup that's made out of either plastic or metal that you put into the machine, and you can reuse it and refill it with whatever coffee you want. You don't have to buy from Keurig at all. You can get it off of Amazon. You can make one yourself probably. It doesn't lock you out.
Oh, fantastic. I'm sure they must have fixed that, but thank you so much. I'm going to yield.
Senator Schulte.
I know I really like the 3 post idea just because I'm somebody who doesn't like coffee and doesn't like popcorn. So if I got either of those baskets, I'd be pretty sad. And then also, I'm going to direct this to, would there be ability for people to enter multiple times if you posted all 3 of those on your story?
I haven't had to use one of these since last year, so I'm sorry. I'm going to do 1 entry because we're kind of following Campus Town guidelines. Have all of you seen Campus Town giveaways? Yeah, they're huge. But they do one entry, and so they tag like 3 or 4 friends first. So that's kind of how we would do it. And then also they would follow us as well, just to clarify that as well. And then one point I wanted to make is that since this is like, we are in COVID times, this is kind of like a one-time thing that we want to do. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Thank you. I yield.
Okay, got it. That makes a lot more sense. I just wanted to know how that was going to work. But yeah, I like the one basket idea so you can choose which basket to enter. So yeah.
Thank you. And as a reminder, please try and stand up if you can, just so you can be seen by people and the cameras. Senator Hurley.
Due to some of the concerns brought up, I'm going to make a friendly motion to remove my name from the bill entirely.
The sponsor line?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any objections? I guess, who's, Speaker Ludwig, do you accept that as a friendly amendment, first of all?
No. No.
Speaker does not accept that as a friendly amendment, so you'd have to, I don't know if you can amend that line, and as you're the only other sponsor, it would make the bill invalid. So I would rule that motion out of order since it would make the bill out of order.
No motion possible?
You, you could do a motion to replace the name.
Move to place my name with Senator
There's been a motion to strike Hurley and place Hanyang.
Second.
All right. Great. So are there any objections to calling the question on that amendment? Then we do a placard vote. Call for unanimous consent. Is there any objection to approving the amendment by unanimous consent? Seeing none, the co-sponsor has been changed.
Call the question on the bill as a whole.
Then I called a question on the bill as a whole. There was a second. Is there objection? There was an objection. Do you withdraw, Senator Weathers?
I will.
Okay. Senator Klopchataskas.
I just want to talk quick. I thought the food truck idea was great. You're going to reach 200 students super quickly. My issue with this is I think you're going to have a ton of people submit, but I think the only people that win, or the people that win are going to be the only ones that get any information or kind of more curiosity about student government. If you have like 600 kids submit, I think the 577 or 597 would be like, oh, I didn't win and move on. So for me, it's like $500 to educate 3 people about student government. I'd like to hope that more people are, but it seems like a lot of money to get a very small group interested. So I don't think the bill is a wise use of money for garnering interest in student gov. I yield.
I understand. I would. Oh, I'm sorry.
You have to be yielded to time by a senator.
Oh,
so.
okay. Sorry.
Senator Bender.
Yeah, I'll yield to you real quick. My only thing is like when you post that, they're getting the seed. You know, like your first experience, you might just see it one time. But seeing it again, maybe as like a sophomore, seeing it again as like a junior, you're more willing. It's not your first time experiencing it. So I think it's a good opportunity, but I can yield my time to you too.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to say that the actual giveaway itself on social media is going to be presented in a way that it's informational. The winners just get like the prize. They don't win information, if that makes sense. But the thing that's going to be posted itself will have the proper information and the proper links and resources for students to see it. So let's say we have 600 students who see it, like you said, and let's say 400 click on the link. Or the QR code. That's the goal, to have resources on the post.
All right. So are you?
I'm done.
Okay. So then you'll yield Senator Bender speaking privilege. Senator Weathers.
I have a question of Director Crabb. Am I correct in understanding that you have to follow our online presence in order to receive these awards?
Yes, so you'll have to follow, so they're going to be getting our information for the next, let's say you're a freshman, next 4 years, if you follow us for that, because I honestly follow a lot of accounts from giveaways, but then I just see their posts and I'm like, oh, I didn't know you existed, but then I just keep seeing them, and so if we get, let's say, like you said, 600 people engage with it, and we have 600 extra followers, which would increase our following count right now by like, I think, 50 or 60%. So that would be really helpful, especially because we post every single day, multiple times, and we give a lot of good information regarding student government, Senate, cabinet. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think this is more than just a one-time expense on our part. This is kind of something that we're investing in. So long as we get followers, we're going to have a continuing presence online. So I called a question.
Then I called a question on the bill in a second. Is there any objection to voting now on the bill? Then seeing none, Speaker Ludwig with the closing statement.
Yeah, so I think we've had a good discussion on this. I wasn't totally sold on this when Eliana first brought the idea to me, but overall, I think it's something that can bring new people in to like at least be aware of student government and what we're doing, and so I think it's good for us to try new things and be open to trying new things. And I think if the PR team thinks that this is a good way to expand our outreach to students and the number of students that we are able to inform, then I think it's something worth trying at least once. So I encourage you all to vote yes on this. I yield.
We'll go into a roll call vote. Please vote yes, no, or abstain. Adegarla.
Yes.
Edvate.
Yes.
Bender.
Yes.
Emery.
No.
Bahim.
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Hanyang.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
Hurley.
Move me down.
Klaptauskas. Ludwig.
Yes.
Mass.
Yes.
Pfeiffer.
No.
Rinchie.
Yes.
Schulte.
Yes.
Springer.
Yes.
Weathers.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zastro.
Yes.
Hurley.
No.
With a vote of 16 to 4 to 0, the funding request passes.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to 2020-3-086 SG, seeking an at-large to SI committee. And that is with probably Senator Edvate. Great, opening statement.
Sweet. So this is a bill to seat Nathan Scott, who actually is just entered the room. Nathan Scott is an incredibly driven individual, and they reached out to SI committee through multiple avenues about a couple weeks ago. And they've been sitting in our meetings, the last 2 meetings, and I can tell you they've been incredibly passionate. They have a lot of great ideas. They wanted to be seated as an at-large, so I'm going to yield.
Okay, yeah, so if you just want to explain yourself, who you are, what your major is, and then like why you want to be a part of the committee.
Yeah, my name is Nathan Scott. I use he, him pronouns. I am a sophomore in agricultural business. I currently have a running career with the Iowa State Food Committee. I'm also a part of the IRHA. A lot of my time from there has been in support of a lot of the efforts we made to put on campus food pantries in the residence halls, and I originally looked into this as a chance I thought if we could expand that to student as a whole. I don't know about you guys, but I think that people who spend tens of thousands of years on tuition don't deserve to starve from insecurity. So yeah, reaching out to the school to get resources on that, try to help the students any way I can, and just other events too, we're at COVID, mental health is on the rise, or mental health issues, I should say, is on the rise. We have a lot of students feeling more depressed, lonely, isolated than ever, so I think it's really up to us, the student leaders, to unite the community and bring back the great traditions that we all got to experience in our freshman and early years before the tragic pandemic occurred.
All right, so we'll go back to Senator Edvate on an opening statement.
Yeah, I understand I can't ask questions. You know what, folks, please ask questions because I'm not going to be asking any this time. I yield.
Senator Klaptauskas.
I'm involved with organizations with Nathan. I just want to give a quick endorsement that he's a highly driven, highly qualitative, he's the man for the job, so.
Thank you.
Senator Hanyang.
Yeah, Nathan has been great in the SI these past couple weeks. It's brought new ideas and new perspectives, so I'm glad to see him on board. I'm glad to see him being seated tonight. Just out of kind of courtesy, can you share what projects we've talked about in SI for the good of the group here?
Yeah, in SI specifically, when I first came in, we were thinking of seeing how we could work on collaborative efforts between IRHA, Food Committee, and all that stuff. A lot of that has been put to the back burner. unfortunately, as student dining tries to get their logistics worked out on how we would proceed with that. Through SI alone, we have talked about, today we talked about the 2 bills, which I'm unaware of where you guys are on the meeting. I believe the land acknowledgement and George Washington Carver.
So, yeah, those bills are on new business, so we'll read them once this week and then vote on them next week.
Okay, I'm unaware of the policy here, but yeah, we've just been discussing that and just generally, you know, ways we could help the students. A lot of efforts have been spent on the safety walk. I know SI is involved. I don't know anyone else, but I'm sure you're more than welcome. And obviously, like anything we can do to make our campus safer for everyone, I think we should take that action upon ourselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much. If there are no other questions, I'll call the question on the bill.
Call the question second. Any objection? Seeing none, Senator Vate, would you like to close the statement?
Vote yes.
Okay, so Senator Vate moves the bill. We'll do a placard vote. Call for unanimous consent. Is there any objection to approving the nominee by unanimous consent? And seeing none, the nominee has been approved. All right, so we'll move on to new business. Within new business, we have 2020-3-083SR, Iowa State University Land Acknowledgement Statement with Senator Young.
Sorry, everyone, I was trying to get my mic to turn on. I'm not used to these. So title, I guess. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know, a land acknowledgement is a formal statement that recognizes and respects the indigenous peoples and land that our university sits upon. And Iowa State actually created their own land acknowledgement statement an entire year ago in February. And so this resolution basically calls on the administration to actually implement that land acknowledgement into practice as it was intended to do. So they would just be reading it before college-wide and university-wide events before getting started. So if you have any questions of intent for me, I'll take those.
Any questions of intent? Senator Piper.
Do you intend for this statement to be read before, like, university club meetings?
I intend that we are...
You have to answer yes or no.
Yes, I forgot. Okay.
Or you can just decline to answer. Maybe that would be the best move. Who knows?
Yes, I decline to answer and maybe specify, if you could specify it further.
Yes, I mean, like, meetings that a club would hold, like a weekly meeting for, I don't know, skiing club.
No.
Okay.
Are there any further questions of intent? Senator Vate.
Can I have 2 questions of intent?
Yes.
Okay. The first one is, we unofficially just read through this in SI today. Technical, I guess just one question. Would you be intending on attending the next SI meeting so this can be seen in a public committee meeting?
Yes. Scheduling pending.
Sweet. Thank you. I just wanted to plug the committee. I'll talk more about it in my closing announcement, but yield.
Senator Vate, did you have 2? No, just 1? Okay, sorry. All right. Are there any further questions of intent? Seeing none, the bill has been read once and referred to SI committee. We'll move on to 2020-3-084SR, supporting the George Washington Carver statue project with Senator Weathers.
Title. Okay, yeah. This is a bill that is putting our support behind a movement that's going on in Iowa right now. Every state sends down 2 statues to the United States Capitol. Right now, I believe ours is Mr. Kirkwood and Norman Borlaug. This resolution is putting our support in replacing Kirkwood with George Washington Carver. It's nothing new. I think Iowa's done this 14 times since 2000. So, yeah.
Questions of intent, Senator Hayes.
Do you intend on specifying which statue we are hoping to replace in DC?
No.
Senator Vate.
Yeah, we unofficially looked through this in committee as well, and a lot of questions I got was, do you intend on including President Wendy Winterstein in the list of who the resolution's going to?
No.
Yield.
Senator Piper, did you have a question of intent? Okay. Are there any further questions of intent? Then seeing none, the bill has been read once and referred to SI committee. Move on to 2020-3-055A, approving the asset recommendations with Senator Zastro.
Title. So asset is complicated and something that a lot of us don't know too much about. And even though I'm on finance, that's myself included. I will yield the rest of my time to finance director class to explain what it is.
Yeah, so we have to do a couple of things for asset to get our funding to them. Also, this is for FY 2022, so when that comes back next week, someone can make that friendly amendment. But so we have to, as student government, approve the recommendations that Max Ruley, the treasurer, and his asset coordinator volunteers made at the meetings. They have a bunch of meetings, and they go through all of it. You'll see in the PDF that's in the folder, it's broken down by organization and then service and then how much we give for that. So all of asset, how we do everything else is not reimbursement. Like you don't get reimbursed through student government funding. When we give funding, we give it to them and they spend it and anything unused comes back. For asset, it's the opposite. We reimburse everyone for how they help Iowa State students. So our money goes to Iowa State students or Iowa State student kids through asset. So that's all there. We fund, I want to say like 17 of the organizations. There's like 23 or more that come through the process. Story County, City of Ames, United Way, Iowa State Student Government are the 4 funders. You can find all that information if you Google like Story County asset. It'll be 2021-2022 funding priorities. You can see a huge spreadsheet. It's like $9 million gets put through. United Way puts like $4 million through. We put $274,000, so it's like measly compared to other people. But it is really important. So please look through that. Please ask questions. It is very, very important. But so why we have to do the recommendations is to approve it so that we can do the contracts, which is the next bill, which I'll, instead of talking on that still, those are just the contracts that say the exact same thing that are in the recommendations. There's just a lot of wording about like when they have to get their things into me and how they do all that stuff. So it's like a lot of process jargon that you don't really need to look at. The big part that you should look at is making sure that matches recommendations. Thank you.
Are there any questions of intent? And seeing none, the bill has been read once and referred to Finance Committee. Move on to 2020-3-085SA, ratifying the fiscal year 2022 asset contracts with Senator Zastro.
Title. Yeah, so these are just the contracts. Finance director class, did you want more time to talk? Okay, cool.
All right, are there any questions of intent? And seeing none, the bill has been read once and referred to Finance Committee. Move on to 2020-3-054Y, land acknowledgement in student government with Senator Young.
So this would just be going off
Sorry,
of the...
Senator Young, can you try and read the bill first?
Yeah, sorry, title. I told myself I wasn't going to forget to. So this is just going off of the resolution that's being sent to the university. It would be implementing the land acknowledgement statement at the beginning of our Senate meetings, like we do the Pledge of Allegiance. It would be just adding into our bylaws that we would just read that aloud before we get started.
Are there any questions of intent? And seeing none, the bill has been read once and referred to Rules Committee. We'll move on to 2020-3-056F carryover requests. Senator Bender.
Title.
Move to consider as read.
Also, can I move to waive first read?
Second.
There's been a motion to waive the requirement that the bill be read twice before consideration. There was a second. Is there any objection to that motion? Okay, then I'll consider that requirement waived. Senator Bender on an opening statement on the bill.
Yield my time to Finance Director.
Thank you. Also, just like this is just a precursor for how much you're going to hear from me for like the next 5 weeks. So it'll be really fun for everyone. So you'll see there's a lot of clubs through this. There's Crew Club, After Dark, Equestrian, ISSO program, the International Student Something Office. Winterfest, Student Outreach Family, which was formerly known as Cyclone Family Weekend. Those are all doing carryover requests because their events were canceled because of COVID, as we all know. This is like, I think I did the math, $76,000 we're carrying over. That's money that we don't have to put through annuals this year. So that's going to save a lot of headaches for us for budget balancing to make it fit with the fee projections. So this is a very good thing, because otherwise that money would go back into special projects, which, as we know from my reports, if you read all the way to the bottom, special projects has a large sum of money in it. Yeah, if you have any questions about these, I'll be happy to answer them. They're pretty straightforward, similar to theater, but it is a lot of money, so ask away. Thanks.
Yield my time.
Okay. We'll move into a general debate period for the bill. Senator Debate.
Real quick, Director Class, so would these just not be seen at annuals, or do they just get $0? What happens if their funding requirements changes, I guess?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So how I like kind of pushed carryover requests during my information sessions. So all of these people are still coming through annuals, but in the GSB column, because OFP is super old, there's a GSB column. So any money that they're going to get through carryovers is taken out of that column and moved into STU.org. So like, let's say After Dark. After Dark, I think it's like $125,000 for entertainment. They are asking for a carryover of $30,000. So instead of having $125,000 in the GSB column, they'll have $95,000 if I do the math right. And then they'll have $30,000 in STU.org. So they'll still be coming through. Also with carryover requests, this is money that we've already given them. So like if for some reason the funding requirements change next year, they still get that funding. We've given it to them once. We keep it with them. If they ask for new money, that's when the requirements change.
So they'd still be going through annuals, we're just going to be A minus B equals C. That's what's going on, I guess, right?
Yes, they will still be coming through annuals. This money will just not be new money that they get. It'll be the old money that they'll keep.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Going to call to question a second. Is there any objection to consideration? Senator Bender.
Klein.
Senator Bender moves the bill. We will now move on to a roll call vote on this bill. So please vote yes, no, or abstain. Adegarla. Yes. Advait. Yes. Bender. Yes. Emery. Yes. Fahim. Yes. Goff. Yes. Gonzalez. Yes. Hanyang. Yes. Hayes. Yes. Hurley. Yes. Klaptauskas. Yes. Ludwig.
Yes.
Mass. Oh, sorry, Mass is not on the roll. Pfeiffer. Yes. Rinchi. Yes. Schulte. Yes. Springer. Yes. Stenzel, or sorry, not Stenzel. Young. Yes. Weathers. Yes. Zastro. Yes. I missed anybody? All right, and with a vote of 19 to 0, this funding bill passes. Move on in new business to 2020-3-057F, funding Rodeo Club with Senator Pfeiffer.
Title. Yes, so this bill funds the Rodeo Club's annual rodeo, and there's lots and lots of small things in it. I don't know a whole lot about it, so if you know more, you can direct, or if you want to know more, direct your questions to the finance director. I yield.
Are there any questions of intent? Seeing none, the bill has been read once and referred to Finance Committee. We'll move on to 2020-3-058Y, Judicial Branch Improvements with Senator Springer.
Title. So yeah, I'm not Senator Mass. He's the one that wrote this bill. I'm not gonna lie, don't know a whole lot about it quite yet. We're gonna go over this in rules next week, and it is part of the project that Speaker Ludwig referred to earlier about just bylaw review. So this is regarding the judicial branch area of the bylaws. And if you have any questions, I can take them and ask Zach and get back to you.
Any questions of intent? And seeing none, the bill has been read once and referred to Rules Committee. We are through with the agenda, so if you have a closing announcements, please raise your placard. Oh, sorry, Senator Advait.
Yeah, real quick, I didn't really do this properly earlier, but SI committee will be looking at both the resolutions that came through. So I would highly recommend everyone that's interested, if you see language you want changed, amendments you would like made, please do attend the committee meetings because, so like last time we had a resolution come through, a lot of the questions that were asked on the floor were already discussed in committee. And perhaps it's also good for the bill writers if they can sort of answer the questions once and be done with it, I guess. So yeah, please do show up. It'll be 4:30 p.m. Wednesday. It'll be a public meeting, probably in the West Sauce outside, but I'll be emailing details to everyone as well. The second thing is, yeah, I'm sorry about the Keurig stuff. I looked into it, and the article I read was from 2014, and in 2015, Keurig backed off and let you use. So I feel old now, but I will do my research. In a more serious note, I will do my research better next time. But thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Senator Zastro.
Today's my mom's birthday, so in case she's watching, happy birthday, Mom. I yield.
All right. Were there any, Senator Young, did you? No, okay. Oh, Chief of Staff Rolling.
Howdy, everybody. Just a couple shout outs for some of our awesome cabinet members today. So first, as our finance director class has already mentioned, shout out to our treasurer, Max Rulli, for his work on asset. It's a bit of a thankless job, and he's put a lot of work and hours into this allocations process. So please make sure to take a read through the bill when he puts it forward, because asset is probably one of the coolest things we do in student government, and one of the things I'd say most senators know the least about. Having been a senator myself and a part of this process this year, it's been really enlightening about what we actually fund, and it's such a cool process. So get involved if you want to next year. Treasurer Rulli has done some really excellent work with the City of Ames, Story County, and United Way, and Asset could not have been successful without his hard work. Additionally, a shout out to our Director of Student Services, Brett Clark. She's dove right into her position and has run some really great projects since joining student government for the first time this fall. So it's been excellent. And whether it's been like the Give a Swipe project, campus accessibility review, or even pairing up with other cabinet members on a lot of different projects, she's absolutely rocked it this semester. Additionally, stay safe and warm. It is cold out there, and take care of yourselves. And we were supposed to pass on to you that there is Welcome Fest going on in the Great Hall right now. So once this meeting wraps, be sure to stop on by.
All right. Thanks for meeting, everybody. I just have one suggestion, maybe as a quality of life. I can't write bills, but for 4 years, I've sit here and watched every bill get moved to consider as read. Couldn't we just have a bylaw that says bills are automatically considered as read? That's just a thought. Maybe someone can get on that. I'd appreciate it. Other than that, thanks for coming to the meeting, making the space work, and I'll see you all next week, or maybe sooner. Vice Speaker Gonzalez.
Hi, everyone. Can I get a thumb scale of how we're feeling tonight? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hope your week gets better if your thumb was down, but my thumb's feeling good. I'm feeling up. So, earlier this week, I contacted mentors. So, by now, you should have contacted your mentees. Just a reminder that you have to meet twice a month because we love those relationships. And then if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer. Keep volunteering for those tabling and outreach events, please. Thank you to everyone who volunteered at Give a Swipe. Fighting food insecurity on campus is really important. So thank you to everyone who keeps volunteering and being a part of that. We talk about outreach a lot in student government, so just getting students involved is awesome. And then, yeah, that's all for me. So have a great week.
Senator Hurley.
Hello. I've been having some highly respectable conversations with some great senators. There's been discussion amongst a few people from every table here about a gamer senator night at the Beyer Hall thing. There's a new gaming room. That could be a great way to reach out, doesn't have to be official, but, I'm a big gamer, so if anyone wants to plan stuff.
Thank you. Speaker Ludwig.
First, I'd like to invite Senator Hurley to reach out to Chief Justice Heasley, or as he likes to be called, our gaming Chief Justice. He might be able to help plan something with you. Seeing as Hurley is also one of my mentees, if my mentees could come talk to me after the meeting so we can schedule some mentor-mentee meetings, that'd be great. And I can write the bill about making things considered as read, or if anyone else wants to write the bill, I can help. Yeah. Beyond that, good meeting tonight. As I said last week, and as I've been trying to kind of hammer the last couple meetings, reach out if you want to work on a project. I've talked to, I think, like 4 or 5 different senators in the last week about projects they're working on. I love to help where I can. If you have any questions about just writing the bill or about where to get started with the project, my inbox is something I'm looking at basically all the time. So shoot me an email or come talk to me, come to my office hours. Yeah. Don't slide in my DMs. And then lastly, just want to thank Director of Affordability Campbell for the song suggestion for the week. I hope you guys all liked Convoy. Just a fun trucking song, you know. I just felt that was the right vibe for student government in this week. So with that, go Cyclones. Move to adjourn.
Any objections? Adjourn.